Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Chaturtyodhyayaha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. We will chant from verse number 5. Then chant. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetta parantapa ajopi sanvedayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swamadishtaya sambhavamya atma mayaya yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. We should do from verse number 5. See, in one of these first 8 verses, the teacher, Krishna here, talks about, first few verses are about the glory of the Gita. The next few verses are about the glory of Avatara, the Avatara Rahasya. He comes back to the main subject, Moksha Jnanam, from verse number 9. There is something very significant here in this chapter 4, which it's important for us to understand. In verse number 2 of this chapter, he mentions Evam Parampara Praptim Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu Sa Kalena Iha Mahata Yoga Nashtaha Parantapa. Oh, Parantapa. This traditional Karna Parampara handed down from the teacher to the student, from the student who himself becomes a teacher and handed down to the student. So Parampara Praptim Kalena Iha Nashtaha has undergone an amount of damage because of Kala. He is talking in Dwapara Yuga, he is not talking about Kali Yuga. As people who come from the Vedic culture, we should be aware of the kind of damage that can happen to this knowledge if we are not awake to certain realities. For instance, you cannot understand Vedic literature, Vedic culture, without understanding India's history. Somewhere along the way, a narrative has started as though India's history started only after 1947. Before that, maybe 1857. Before that, India had no history. The Western European colonization, which started in America's discovery by Columbus, were perhaps one of the darkest chapters in human history, where genocides, forced conversions, and premeditated, planned destruction of culture took place in all over the world. The standing example is the whole of Western Europe, Africa, the Americas, Latin America. During the time, before the culture that expansionism and colonialism could reach India, we had the invasion from the Middle East, which was another effort in colonization. If you look at the map of the world, starting from Egypt to Indonesia, except for one country, the rest is all green in color. free land masses have resisted this. India, China, and Japan. China resisted it. Unfortunately, it fell under the leftist imperialism, which spread from Eastern Europe. But India has resisted it. What have we resisted? If you look at what has happened in Africa, Americas, Western Europe, the indigenous culture has been totally destroyed. Even if the people want to return to their roots, to their ancestors, there's nobody there. The ancestors of people in Australia and in America live in reservations. They don't even know what is their culture, what is their cultural destruction that has taken place. Incas are in museums now. And Egypt has left the pyramids. Complete destruction of the culture has taken place. In the last 20 or more years, a certain revival process has started. But the revival process is still under the framework of the Western colonization paradigm. Everything is sought to be reinterpreted under that paradigm. Was there no language in South America? They now speak Spanish and Portuguese. The whole of this side. Was there no language in the Americas? Now they speak English, French, Spanish, and maybe some scattered here and there, Polish. Destruction of culture, language, Africa. And now the reinterpretation is happening under a different framework. Don't think I'm straying from the Bhagavad Gita. I'm in chapter 4, verse number 2. Kalena iha nashta. How destruction has taken place. Not only in Dwapara Yuga. It is not just Dwapara Yuga, it is Kali Yuga. So, the reinterpretation goes on in as much as there is a black African who now seeks, who says, who speaks on behalf of how they have rediscovered themselves. Rediscovered what? It is like a victim saying that, oh yeah, my grandfather suffered, but I am better off. Another paradigm trying to read. It is from this angle that we have to look at India. Why India is the target of these two aggressive faiths? Because it is not just a religious ideology, it is a political ideology as well. Colonization. Okay, exploit, go back. That was what the white man did. What did the green colored do? Exploit, settle. Comes the third step when your mind is sought to be colonized. It is not colonization of just your economic resources. It's your mind that is sought to be colonized. Everything about your culture you are ashamed of. In your own country, even today, there are clubs in which if you go with your dhoti and with your simple shirt, they say, and with the chappal, they say, sorry, you cannot enter. Look at the political colonized mindset framework. And there'll be a group which will come and tell you it's perfectly okay. Then there'll be another isolated attacks on the system, which says entry to this place must be allowed. Some traders here are not allowed to do business. You know which section objects the most? not the affected parties, but the so-called Hindu liberals. This is where Kalena Iha Nashtaha has happened. The Western educated mindset is in a mood that yes, ours is old-fashioned and we have to reform and become universal in acceptance. The knowledge is universal, so the practices should be universal. It will not work at all. What is indigenous will remain indigenous. What is universal has to be told in a universal language. That is what our Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati repeatedly says in his talks. You cannot universalize some practices. Okay. How many of us, before going online on Zoom with a tie and all, would mostly like to wipe away our Vibhuti or Namu? Because it does not have fashion statement. Look at that. Psychological. See, colonization destroys you in three ways. Economically destroyed, spiritually destroyed, psychologically destroyed, which has happened to rest of the world. India could not be destroyed spiritually. That's why the attacks continue even today. The problem is whoever has tried to destroy you spiritually have got converted themselves. So you have in churches Dvajastambam, people tying talis, kolam, lighting lamps. That's why the resistance. We have to understand this and deeply ingrain it into our personalities very, very strongly. So many years of invasive attacks on our culture, Vedic culture, could not do anything. Yeah, there have been pockets, but could not do anything. This is the one piece of land which resists. Read this with Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. India will be the land which will resist this cultural destruction and pollution of minds. A mentality. You are enslaved economically. Even today, all our economic crisis models and economic management models are all Western concepts. It is not Arthashastra. It is not Arthashastra. What was Arthashastra? Temple-centered communities. All the wealth concentrated in the temples. Temples were centered of wealth, were centers of wealth. The entire community pursued certain activities which took care of Artha Kama, but Artha Kama was not top priority. What was top priority? Moksha was top priority. Everything else subserved moksha. But if moksha was not clear to you, Artha Kama was okay, but it has to be aligned with the dharma. Dharma is what is proper. We did not need state-imposed regulations for managing your wealth. We had spiritually imposed. It is not even an imposition. It was an education, dharma, what the way life should be lived. If you violated dharma, dharma will rub you. Moksha may not be understood. So this was a society. At least an awareness of this is how it is important. And the whole world thinks there is only one way to solve. That is the Western way of solving economic problems. And much of India's mindset is still on that. We still talk about fiscal policies and this policies and that policies. There is one clear policy. Whether it is Raja, that means state, or people, never outlive your income. When the Raja had to live, he had to live on revenue raised by the people. And the revenue raised cannot result in oppression of the people. So pump and things like that had to be kept to minimum. People paid taxes, that apart they contributed voluntarily. The voluntary contributions went to the temples. So any pomp and celebration was a part of voluntary contribution made by the people, of which the Raja was a part. There was Devam, Raja. Western model was quite different. The Raja had an agenda. Agenda is, see, one is Dharma. Dharma says, hurting is bad. Why is hurting bad? They ask you a question. Would you like to get hurt? No, that's all. Samanya Dharma. You don't want to get hurt, therefore don't hurt. Would you like to be lied to? No, then don't lie. Simple Samanya Dharma. This is how life was defined. You want to kill? Is it okay to kill? No, it's not okay to kill. So don't. Is it okay to be killed? No, then don't kill. This is how Dharma was framed. Then you had Vishesha Dharma. When you are a Kshatriya, you're a Brahmana, then Vishesha Dharma. Then came Dharma reinterpretation. It is okay to kill if you don't follow my word. It is okay to take your land if you didn't follow my word. So that agenda was aggressively driven by the Rajas. So even today, when you talk about this to young Indians, young people, happy people have slowly started listening to you. Otherwise, their brand, you are a orthodox guy, a rigid guy, a patriarch, one more beautiful word, intolerant. These are the words. Kalena iha nashtaha. How the whole thing has been eroded. Vedic knowledge has been eroded. Very important. And the Vedic knowledge is not some kind of bookish knowledge. It is meant for humans. It will revive itself. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamya. No jokers can change these laws. Okay. With this in mind, let's read verse number 9. 9, 10, 11, I'll try to cover today. Okay. Once again, I would like to repeat to you, what I'm talking to you is not political agenda. I have nothing other than Vedic culture agenda in my life. Whatever remains of it, I've lived my life. The remaining years, I have only one agenda. That agenda is make people aware of the Vedic culture as it should be known and not through a Western paradigm. We have to know it as per indigenous, Indic view. Much of India today, much of India and a lot of people today, Westerners, they want everything interpreted in Western. No, I don't intend to. The problem with so many of non-resident Indians settled abroad, they say, can you come and give me a lecture which my children will understand? How do I convince my children? I said, you cannot convince your children because you're not convinced yourself. You're not only not convinced, you're misinformed. You try to justify and try to say this is okay, and you are still ashamed of all that happened. And the colonization, they took advantages, manipulated, exploited local fishers, F-I-S-S-U-R-E-S. Local fishers, which are true to any economy. which are true to any system. Any system will have a local fissure. There will be small. The system is capable of handling it yourself. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. It's capable of taking care of itself. When you have consumed something not good, the system will throw it out. Okay. So with this point down, let's see verse number 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah. Tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti sorjuna. Tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti sorjuna. Biggest problem now is we have to do one full session on rebirth. There cannot be rebirth. So the person who argues this has neither studied or done research, has heard some narratives here and there. Nobody has the patience to listen to anything more than 3 to 7 minutes on YouTube. And the loudest voice gets heard. So, all misinformed, and then it cannot be. I will have to look at it from indigenous view alone. I'm not trying to take recourse. I won't take recourse to Western paradigm. If a Western person wants it, I'll interpret it. Let somebody with a complete Western paradigm come to me and say, I'm sorry, I don't understand this. Yes, I will help him understand. But to an Indian mind who refuses to understand, I'm not interested in this. We have to look at it from the Indian paradigm, not Indian, Indic paradigm. Okay. So I'm going to look at it from two. One is from the Bhakti angle, the other is from the Jnana angle. This is where I'm going to look at Indic. Okay. Indic is not trying to justify this. Indic is trying to look at it from two different angles. Yeah. Janma karma me divyam. My divine birth and action are not easy to understand. It needs insight. That's why when you go to the temples, you have darshan. Close your eyes, open your third eye. You have insight. Understanding the divine manifestation, its functions, its manifestation, and the destiny that it unfolds, its unfolding requires insight. He says, Janma karma me divyam evam. Only that person, deti tatvatah, one who understands it in proper reality. Hard work is necessary. What kind of hard work? If you really want to learn, there is Shankara Bhashya. Shankara Bhashya English translation is also available. You should search for it. I'll give you links if you want. Hard work is necessary to teach this one words. I have to sit and study at least 4 hours. Take notes from here, take notes from there. Keep all of you in mind. So much of work is necessary. You just can't come and mouth it like that. A lot of work is necessary. Like that, you need to understand me in proper reality. Yeah, you have to work. You have to work. Okay? Acha. There are 2 clear paths. Okay? One path is when you inquire into this reality. What is the ultimate truth? Moksha. Moksha is freedom. What is freedom? It is not an event which is going to happen in time. It is not experiential. It is cognitive. You have to understand that you are emotionally independent. The external facility, external factors do not determine your happiness. This is the reality. You have to understand. For understanding this, you need jnana yogyata. It needs jnanam, jnanam needs jnana yogyata. There are 2 points of analysis. You can start analysis there, you can start analysis here. So let me give you a small example. What is a wave? Let's analyze here. The wave is saying, but I come here, I rise in somewhere near the shore, gets crashed from the ocean, cross from the shore, I am finished. I am dragged back and then I'm again thrown onto the shore, again dragged back. Some people wash their feet. This is the life of a wave. Struggling to reach the shore, never being able to reach it. Struggling to reach the middle of the ocean, never being able to reach it. They say in Tamil, you are tossed between 2 trees, never having your vyavastha anywhere. This wave goes to the Guru wave. Guru says, inquire. What is inquiry? What is wave? Form. What is the content? Hey, water. He said, that's what you are. You are water. One, you are rooted in water. The problems of the wave don't touch you. It's a leela for you. Watch the wave dancing about. But yes, as the realization of water happens through the wave, the problems of the wave are likely to be known. You have to cognitively understand that the problems of the wave are with the wave and it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't affect you. Or the inquiry starts with the ocean. What is the ocean? Sagara. Analyze. What does it come to? Water. Ocean is water. Wave is water. Tat tvam asi. That's all is the knowledge. In the same way, your action can start with inquiry of the Jagat, the world. Oh my God, I can't understand. Okay, Ishvara. Start your understanding with understanding of Ishvara. Try to understand Ishvara. Then come and understand Aham. You can understand both ways. Okay? So again, when it comes to understanding Ishvara, there are 2 distinct paths. Eka Rupa Ishvara, Aneka Rupa Ishvara, or Vishwa Rupa Ishvara. Eka Rupa Ishvara, my Krishna. I believe only in Krishna. Or Devi, Eka Rupa, this alone matters to me. Start at the base level. Rather than cry before others, cry to Ishvara. If you look at it from the Western paradigm, Ishvara will never become real to you. Look at it from Indic paradigm, Ishvara is real. Close your eyes and you can even see Ishvara. You can see the form you want to see. It's a subjective manasika realization. There are many who have seen it. There are many who have talked to this Ishvara. Many whose problems are solved. Even you and I can try. In case the problem is too much, please shut the door, okay? Go into a room all alone. Call out your Ishvara and cry. There are so many songs there. So many. Man tadpat hari darshan ko aaj. Man tadpat hari darshan. Darshan do ghanshyam nath mori akhiyan pyasi re. Mere to girdhar gopal dusro na koi. So many. There was a song. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. After that was yours. Somebody to change the whole thing to something else. This is what is called, cultural pollution of what was mine. And now we have forgotten what the original is, and we sing all that adapted rubbish. And if you are able to relate to Ishvara in this form, what happens? Emotional sanity happens. Your problems, I don't know whether problems will be solved. Your desperate rat trap mentality will go away. You will see hope. In fact, our Swamiji, Swami Dayanji says, you get valuable, precious space inside. You get inner leisure in, in which you get the objectivity. Perhaps that's where Vedanta Jnanam will work. You will be able to have that Sakshi Bhava to look at the problem, contain the problem, so take initiative to change whatever is to be changed, what cannot be changed. Ishvara Prasada, ready-made therapy provided. Now, suppose I want to look at you through the Western paradigm also has it. There they say, there's somebody sitting inside a box and you talk to him. But from the Western paradigm, they say, it's so nice, sir. The music will play, music, dim lights and all. Mind already looking for experiences. Hey, your room is there here. Yeah, you not take it out of your purse, whoever you are. Have Ekarupa. Ekarupa can be anybody. And the Ekarupa gives you 6 basic forms. Sauryam in the form of elements like Surya, Chandra. Hey, Rahu Dasha is going on. Pray to Rahu, a planet. I'm going through Shani Dasha now. Next 3 years, Shani. Invoke Shani. What do you tell Shani? I will lessen my pursuit of Artha Kama, go more towards Dharma. Shani will say, okay, anyway, you're on the right track. Why should I bother you? Shani bothers you only to rub you and say, come back to Dharma, man. Don't stray off line. It is like those, those embankments which tell you that if you are straying, it will rub your car. Come back onto the main line. Okay, so yeah. Then you have next step, Ganapatyam, half animal, half man, or pure animal itself. Ganapatyam, so Ganesha, Hanuman, Hayagriva, Narasimha, all acceptable. Then you have Balyam, invoke in the form of a child. Then you have child, and then you invoke in the form of Shakti, woman's form. Then you have Vaishnavam, invoke in the form of a man, a friend, a father. Ishvara can be your father. You can see Ishvara in your father. Kai Siranda Kovilumillai, Tande Sulmikka Mandiramillai. The words of my father become Ishvara's words, all built into your system. And from this, you move to what is called Arupa Ishvara, Aneka Rupa Ishvara, Vishwarupa Ishvara. From world dependence to single God dependence to dependence on Ishvara, invoked as the whole Srishti himself. The next step, Jnana, independence, total independence, emotional independence. What is emotional independence? Not indifference. Understanding that Artha Kama has its limitations. That is emotional independence. So what has limitations? I don't waste my time there. I use it to the extent necessary. That is verse number 9 for you. So understanding me is not easy. It requires a special, subtle effort, requires extra effort, requires insight. Looking at it from the Ishvara angle, look at that angle. The person who knows me as it is does not have Punarjanmam. What is this Punarjanmam? Okay, let's look at it from the Ishvara other angle, from the angle of rebirth. This is the Stula Sharira. The Stula Sharira has Sukshma Karna Sharira inside, the software which runs this out there. The agenda the prarabdha karma, which is fructified now, and the sanchita karma, the bundle which is yet to fructify, are carried in my karana sharira. And because of its fructification, I am functioning like this. When the identification with Ishvara, when I know Ishvara tattvataha, the seed, karana sharira, gets burnt out. So I am jivan eva muktaha. The seeds which reproduced are destroyed. I can't explain it in a Western paradigm. I have to explain it only in the Indian paradigm. All your stored punya papa karma are burnt up. What remains is that part of that sanchita karma which has fructified to give you this sharira. And when you understand, no, I will not even use the word understand. I'll say when you know Ishvara tattvataha, in the reality as not different from you, when the time comes for the Sukshma Sharira to leave this body, the Sukshma Sharira merges with the total and there is no more rebirth. It's called Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti, Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti is even as you are living, you are free. You are free from anxieties and the grips of Kama, Krodha, etc. And on the fall of the Sthula Sharira, the Sukshma Sharira gets mixed, beautifully said as Jal mein kumbh, kumbh mein jal bhai, bhitar bahar pani. Kumbh phati to pani hi pani. Once the pot breaks, water mixes with water. That can happen in Jivan Eva Muktaha. And when you understand Ishvara perfectly, properly, this is what happens. Okay, Janma Karma, this is something we have to understand. Let me also add some more there. Okay, we'll read this. How do you understand? So this is how it is. So you see something. Okay, yeah, before we go into the next one. Yeah, before we go to verse number 10. That you see Ishvara as he is supposed to be seen, as the total. Let me use some words. You're all mature students now. You should better recall and learn. As abhinna nimitta upadana karana, as the intelligent and material cause of creation, nothing in creation is away from Ishvara. You know him like that. That is your insight. But what is this sight saying? You know, the moonlight is not moon's light, but doesn't stop you from seeing the moonlight and writing poems on that. You know the sun doesn't rise or set, yet you look at the sun and go travel all the way to some mountain peak to see the sun, and some say Kanyakumari to see the sunset. You know there is nothing called all these colorful lights, yet you would like to go to Iceland to see the aurora borealis. The knowledge of the reality need not affect the way you see things. It need not invalidate what you see. It's only knowledge. When you see an eclipse, understanding that it is only the shadow need not invalidate what you see. That's the beauty of it. So, seeing Ishvara as a total, Srishti Karta, need not make you feel small about participating in Ramanavami. It's coming Sunday. Okay, sing. Thumak chalat Ramachandra Rajat Vajat Tanjani. I don't know the ragam. It need not stop you from enjoying Ramachandra as a child or Ramachandra as a Guru Purushottama. You can see Rama. The knowledge of the reality need not invalidate your bhakti towards Eka Rupa Ishvara. From Eka Rupa Ishvara, I have moved to Aneka Rupa Ishvara, Vishwa Rupa Ishvara, Atma, Aham Ishvara. But that need not stop me That need not stop me from relating to Ishvara as Ekarupa Ishvara. I can continue my puja. I can continue visiting temples. I can continue praying to Ekarupa Ishvara. I've got a little pain. Ishvara may I not suffer much. A little bit of ache here on the left side. Oh, Ishvara, may I not go through pain. May it all end peacefully. Perfectly okay. This is what we have to understand. This is the Indic paradigm. And the problem with that is when the Indic mind wants it interpreted in a Western paradigm. Hey, how can I relate? You don't relate. Forget it. You go follow somebody else. You are neither here nor there. You will neither understand this nor understand this. You know that system doesn't work because you can't ask questions there. That's a problem. Can you go and ask questions? There are beliefs. You can't touch those beliefs. You will be burnt at stake. Kafir, burn you. You can't ask questions. You can't ask questions. There is somebody who said, no form of pine should be worshipped. No form, no picture. How come some strands of hair from which part of the body you don't know it's worshipped in Kashmir of all places? Some strands. And in 1963, the strands disappeared. The CBI went after looking for strands. Hey, what kind of? This is the problem with the Western. The invasion, slavish mentality with which you don't have the courage to say, come on, enough of this. Enough of this. At least tell yourself. You can't question them. So you question me. How can I believe it, Mohan? You don't believe it. Oh, you can't question them. You don't want to convert also because you know it is totally wrong. Hang around. Na either like Trishanku Swargam, neither there nor there. Hang upside down. And later on you grow up and ask, how do I convince my children? You can't convince your children because you're not convinced yourself. You're half-baked yourself. And Mohanji and company have left the world long back. So this is important that we learn it. Tattvataha, learn it properly. I'm okay if only 6 people attend. It doesn't matter. I don't want 500 people attend. But even if 6 people attend and attend it well is good enough. Understand it well, good enough. You don't even have to tell the world, change yourself. One person changing is not enough. One Krishna is enough. The ways will change the world. One person change. One Vedic right thought, dharma, will change the rest of the world. Anything created by human being has to perish in time. Okay, so let me take you to verse number 10. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamush upashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. Once more. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. So the words Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. So like I saw when you are doing Ishvara Upasana, there are 2 clear stages, Ekarupa, Anekarupa. The Ekarupa Upasana is called Saguna Ishvara Upasana, which we will see in chapter 7. Okay, and see Saguna Rupa Ishvara Upasana. Saguna Nirguna we will see in chapter 7. They are saying all these stages are perfectly important depending upon what stage you are in. I know a person. I know the family very well. From Kolkata days, Malti Ben, lady from Gujarat. So I went to her house once to give this Gita lecture. She said, Mohan bhai, can I show you something? And daughter gave me a quizzical, Mummy will start boring you. I said, let her be. I said, Kajal, let me go and talk to your mummy. Why are you bothered? Why do you feel ashamed for what your mummy is doing? So I went into the room, said, Darwaza band kar lijiye. So she closed the door, she opened my puja room. True Krishna, Krishna, Radha. Oh, my exquisitely decorated. She showed me, then she opened another door. She says, रात को जब सोते हैं ना, I change dress of Radha and Krishna and put them into night dress. And then there is a small cradle in which she puts Radha and Krishna and rocks them to sleep. Next morning, she brushes her teeth, washes herself, and rocks Krishna and Radha awake. Feeds them, does not eat herself before feeding them. Something tells her, Aaj Krishna dukhi hai, kha nahi raha hai. I don't know what happens. Saguna Ishvara Upasana, perfectly okay for her. I had to tell Kajal, why do you want to validate your mother's bhakti to the rest of the world? Let her be what it is. The problem with the Western mind. Problem with the Western mind, trying to prove to the world that, look, all this is outdated practice. I don't know how to make my understand. So what is dated practice? That you can't question. I said he doesn't need questioning. She gets an emotional release. She is not forcing you to do it. Then after the whole thing was over, she said, Mohan ji, ab chalte hain. Aap Shri Krishna ko goodbye bol denge? मैंने कहा नमस्ते श्री कृष्णा, मोहन जी को परमिशन दे दीजिए, मैं जा रहा हूं. She was so thrilled. That is valid for that stage. Don't worry. Do it for as long as you like. Do it for several janmas. Maturity will happen someday, some janma. Bahunam janmani. At some point of time, you will ask a question. Krishna will appear. Krishna can appear and talk and can solve a lot of problems. They lost a lot of money in business. Malti Ben, same smile. वो कृष्ण का दिया हुआ प्रसाद है, मोहन जी उसने ले लिया, फिर वापस दे देगा. अरे my God, I an amazing person. Husband is looking drawn and grey head and what little hair he had lost. फिर वो दे देगा. वो कृष्ण का दिया हुआ है, उसने लिया है, तो क्या हाथ पैर में क्यों मारने का? Vita Raga Bhaya gone. What is Raga? That obsessive, I want. Raga Bhaya gone. When Bhaya gone, Krodha is also gone. If I dwell too long and you may get Krodha on me. Lovely puja. And India is full of such people. Arulvaku. No, you don't have to dismiss them, Subjectively, he sees. I know a person, I knew a Swami. Don't have to go there and tell him that fellow is a fraud. Don't go there if you don't feel like. Don't go. But don't go to prove from a Western mentality. No, it is not possible. He is hallucinating. Who asked you? Did he come to you for treatment? That paradigm, wanting to prove everything. I wanted to appear, reformed, fashionable. Your Vedic culture started in 1947. This is the problem. Not necessary. If you understand, fine. If you don't understand, pray. May I understand? And like he said, if you don't understand, it doesn't matter. Avatara, if you don't understand, doesn't matter. Eka Rupa Ishvara, if you don't understand, doesn't matter. But understand something else. What is understand? Putaha. You must purify yourself. What is purification? The binding strong artha kama should loosen its grip on you. That's the only way you can otherwise be happy. You have to be alive to certain realities. What are those realities? Artha kama can never ever give you permanent peace, security, happiness. And if you are addicted to artha kama, you will exploit as an individual, you will exploit as a society. You may even use God's name to exploit. You are seeing it all around. Only two cultures are still alive, trying to handle it. Vedic culture and the Jewish culture. Palestine and India. Rest are all gone. They have nothing to return to. I feel sorry. I mean, I really Ishwara's. They have nothing to return to. But someone who has converted India has something to return if he really is interested. Puta. Puta means purified. How do you purify? Purify doesn't mean cleaning colons. No. Vitaraga puta. The grip of obsessive desires, anxiety about their fulfillment, despair, anger at their non-fulfillment cease to grip you. You are free from that grip. You are free from the binding grip of raga, dvesha, bhaya, krodha. Free from inside, a liberated person. You are free from want itself. Basically, what are you really looking for? Ishvara says they're actually looking for freedom from want. You are not comfortable being a wanting person. You don't understand it, so you continue wanting. Why does the child cry? I want this balloon, I want that balloon. The child crying because not happy being wanting, but one balloon is not enough, throw away. We are not crying over balloons, we are crying over other things. So, puta. Okay? And there are many. Jnana tapasa, all of them. You have to start from, you can start the process of growth by inquiry. I cannot force anyone into moksha inquiry. Even Krishna cannot force. Krishna was friend with Arjun for so long. He never said, do moksha. Come, let's go attend a camp and attend moksha and things like that. You don't have to attend. He only said fight. Then the inquiry started. When the inquiry started, the teacher taught. So there is, in our system, there is no question of anybody forcing you to learn anything at all. Okay, that is something very, very important. We'll quickly look at verse number 11. No, we have time. So I'll look at verse number 11. Ye yam mam prapadyante. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Tan sthaiva bhajam yaham. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Tan stathaiva bhajam yaham. Mama vartmanu vartante. Manushya partha sarvashaha. Hey Partha, Arjuna, ye mam yatha prapadyante, in whatever form you invoke me. Okay, aham tan tathaiva bhajami, I will give you the results from that particular form. So you pursue, invoke artha. Artha is material well-being. I will give you material well-being. Culture is strongly there. And any rich man's house, especially from the Vedic culture, you will see Mahalakshmi and Ganesha. Diwali day, Kubera Puja. What is the puja for? Give me Lakshmi. Give me, come in my house. And what others have also come into my house. It comes, flows. Comes and flows. Have you seen? Please go into Diwali, that rich business community's house. I've seen it personally. They will put at the end of the day, they put money into that Arati. Om Jai Jagadish. This is a driver who used to earn 400 rupees a month. I have seen him put 100 rupees in that plate. There is a fellow who used to earn 1 crore rupee. He will count and put 10 rupees. You tell him, because I don't give money, stays with me. Because he gives money, doesn't stay with me. Whatever way, he invokes Artha. Artha comes to his house. What is Kama? Kama is, we call it, Artha is material security. Artha is psychological security. Emotional security. You invoke me. So, ye yatha mam prapadyante. You say, I do Ishvara puja, this puja, that puja, for this benefit, that puja, all of them will come to you. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Okay. Tan stataiva bhajami aham. Okay. But please understand, okay, Manushyaha Sarvashaha Mama. People invoke me in this form alone. People are known to invoke me in this form alone. There's nothing wrong. Only thing which is not available in the shloka proper, with the teacher tries to explain to us. Let's understand this very clearly. There are three Shaktis. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. There are three Shaktis. Ichha is the power to desire. It is Ishvara Vibhuti. It's a privilege. Please understand. What you desire is never a problem. So don't feel, oh, I am desiring for that papam. No papam at all. It is Ishvara Vibhuti. But you have been given something called buddhi. So when it comes to fulfilling that desire, kriya, use your jnana. What jnana? Dharma. So what I desire should be aligned with proper, what is proper. It should follow dharma. If it doesn't follow dharma, your jnana shakti should tell you that I am rubbing dharma. When I rub dharma, I get rubbed in the process. My Swamiji says, you want it? Hey, people coming from villages. In your village, if you have that tamarind tree, take your shirt off and rub yourself on the back. You will rub yourself to kingdom come. See what happens to your back. They say, no, ranam it will become. So when you rub dharma, dharma rubs you. How? Why do you seek artha kama? For material well-being, for emotional well-being. And if you rub dharma for emotional and material well-being, where is the question of you be ever attaining well-being? You will have artha, but well-being will not be there. You will have a lot of money, but no well-being. What is well-being is abundance inside. You have a lot of things to enjoy, switching channels, mind elsewhere, all the gizmos, all the cars, all servants. You can't trust one. Even your relatives you can't trust. I have personally seen it happen. We were all sitting in one place, Kolkata, somebody's house. Swamiji was giving an evening. He was invited for Bhiksha. We were having it. I was sitting next to Swamiji and talking to him. Suddenly Swamiji looked at me and smiled and pointed out like that. What happened was the entire family, father, mother, two brothers, daughter, their spouses, were all sitting in that. That's having, I don't know. They followed. Maybe next session I will do. Fake it and you will make it. The kind of fake smile. Swamiji, especially when the camera is on there. Suddenly the eldest son got up and went upstairs in the bungalow. After going up 4 steps, he caught his wife's eyes and beckoned. So the wife also followed him up. You should have seen the expression on the second daughter-in-law's face. They're going up. And all the wealth is in that room. Then the father, the karta of the house, told his wife. And said, Uppar jaake dekho kya ho raha hai. You are sitting in the midst of wealth, can't trust. Putradapi dhanabhajam diti. So if you are going to violate dharma, if you are going to rub dharma, you will get rubbed in the process. Understand this. Then you will have what is called artha will come to you, kama will come to you, atripti karam. It will not give you 100% satisfaction. It will be sukha dukkha mishritatvam. Sudden inflow of money. You will get a notice. Please explain the sources. Suddenly all people who are no longer relatives will start coming here. Everybody will want a loan. I am starting a business. The son-in-law will want loan. Son will not loan. Brother-in-law will want loan. Okay. Third, bandikaram. Bandikaram is addictive. What are your pursuits? Aprapyasya prapanam, what I don't want, I have to have. Prapyasya rakshanam, whatever I have, I want to retain. This is raga. What is dvesha? I want to avoid certain things. And I want to get rid of certain. This is how your life is. Please understand, artha kama means life will be like this. Reality, be aware of reality. That's what he's trying to say. You invoke me in this form, I will come to you in that form. You can make an atomic reactor out of me, but understand precautions have to be taken. You can get the best of computers. Please understand you have to protect yourself against viruses. You have to understand this is the reality. Mam prapadyante, tam tam bhajami. I will come to you with that. So last week somebody asked me, I will close with this question. Putaha, we talked in the previous one, no? Purify. Grip. I can understand all these bad actions and bad results as puta. I need to be free from that. But why should I be free from punya karma? Is this punya karma is equally a problem? How is it a problem? You do a lot of punya karma. You run a huge goshala. 1,000 cows are there. A lot of donations are coming. Can you leave it and go away to an ashram for one day? You are running a trust with crores of rupees, running a temple, managing a temple, collections coming inside. Can you leave it for 2-3 days in the hands of somebody and words? Punya karma is giving you so much. Can you leave it and go? You have a house, you have a garden. Oh, beautiful garden. Best of flowers are going there. Can you go somewhere? I will tell you, if I drop you and come back in the evening, again you tell me when, I will come and drive you. And at that time you'll say, no, can I not send a driver? Would you want me to be present there? This is world. Indra position, Yamaraja position, Brahma are all positions. If you go there, it is a punya karma. Brahma's life is, oh my God, how many trillion human years you don't know. You are stuck without moksha for so many years. Even punya karma can be a bandhakam. This is what Ishvara tries to tell. Let's look at the whole world. Let's reaffirm ourselves. Don't just take it as a weekly lecture and take it. It has to transform. It has to transform you from inside. After many Bahunam Janmani, I have got an opportunity to listen to Vedanta. After so many Janmas, I was lucky enough to listen to Swami Dayananda Saraswati. It made sense. That's the biggest part. Otherwise, I could have been. I know Swami Dayananda. Take personal photos with somebody. It's good, it boosts your ego to show photos. So some people are boosted worse with cinema actors. Some cinema actors are boosted taking photos with a criminal from the Middle East. Boosts ego. I don't know how it boosts ego. I would have taken. I've got lovely photographs. Boost my ego, but no, I'm happy. This worked when he taught me. In 84, I asked him, will it make sense to me? He says, one day you will teach. I'm teaching today. I'm not teaching. I'm only learning it properly. I'm only mouthing it to see that I've learned it properly. Bhunam, Janmanam, Ante, you've got this opportunity. Let there be one person, let there be two persons. Imbibe it. Kaname, Nasanasme, Vedanta should go. It will go in only if you do Nidhi Dhyasana. Shravana, you're listening. Manana is yes. Yeah, good, very interesting. Nidhi Dhyasana. Live it. Live it. Living it is, that's when I come to that point. When it comes to economic development, yes. Artha, Kama are more important, provided it is aligned to Dharma. You will never get into economic crisis. Somehow, Artha, Kama, only crisis. We have to reorient even our economics with an Indic paradigm. As long as you are looking at it in a Western paradigm, fiscal policy. What is fiscal policy? Government spending. First spend and then find out how money is coming in. Hey, what kind of policy is this? First spend. Fix your expenditure and see where the money is coming. And what is the expense towards? War machinery. Hey, what kind? And then you talk about my religion is the most peaceful religion. Exploitation. Destruction. Artha Kama has to be within Dharma. I read somewhere in IIM they are going to teach. I asked them a question. Are you going to teach them that Artha Kama has to be aligned to Dharma, or are you going to teach Western pattern? So the fellow replied, at least we have started. I said, rather than start on the wrong note, don't start. This is the problem. At least children are showing interest. Who are interested to learn in the wrong way? This is the way it has to be done. We'll meet again Friday next. On Sunday is Ramanavami. Spend some time in front of Rama idol or picture. Invoke the Purusha Uttama in you, the integrated person in you. At least pray. May I be integrated at least for one day. One day we'll translate it to greatness. We have to have Nididhyasa. Only then it will work. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Skhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai ho. Swami Dayananda Maharaj ki jai ho. Pavan Putra Hanuman की जय हो, बजरंग बली की जय हो. ओम हम सबकी जय हो. Bless you all.